UFOs and the paranormal often seem to be related, and in fact, they probably are. But here's a post by skeptic Stephen Greenstreet proving exactly that. So let's talk about it. Get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like and subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments below. I love Stephen Greenstreet. He's amazing. He will post things as a skeptic trying to diminish the UFO phenomenon, and he'll highlight things that people have forgotten. Including myself, or things that need to be talked about. Like the connection between UFOs and the metaphysical. Here he is trying to smear the Age of Disclosure movie, but he is in fact bringing up a great point, and he's got the receipts. So let's go through it. The craziest claims of the stars of Age of Disclosure, a new UFO documentary. The mainstream news is currently clickbait promoting this movie, but they won't tell you the whole truth. Stephen Greenstreet is the only one who will. All right. Lou Elizondo. Oh, yeah, of course, he picks the most flattering picture of Lou. A former Pentagon counterintelligence official claims he ran a Pentagon UFO program. UFOs lived inside his house for years. Well, he had orbs. He had orbs, is what Stephen's talking about. He used his psychic powers to turn himself into an angel. Well, he didn't say he turned himself into an angel, but yeah, he was a remote viewer, and he was part of a group that used their remote influencing on a prisoner of war, trying to get him to, give up some secrets that could be helpful. And the prisoner perceived Lou Elizondo and the others. He was actually able to sense them and perceive them, but he perceived them as angels, like guardian or wrathful angels or something. But he also felt like he was being tricked. Very interesting. So Lou had orbs in his house, which could be interpreted as paranormal or alien, or maybe they're one and the same in some cases. And Lou does have psychic powers. He's a remote viewer. Confluence between UFOs and the paranormal one, highlighted by Stephen Greenstreet. Thank you, Stephen. Jay Stratton, former Pentagon intelligence official, claims a werewolf or wolfman stalked his backyard. I talk about this one a lot. I love this story. I mean, I would not want to be in Jay's shoes. Don't get me wrong. No thanks. Werewolves stay the hell out of my backyard. But it's an interesting story. A poltergeist possessed him at Skinwalker Ranch in Utah and then followed him back to his home in Maryland. Of course, he's talking about a hitchhiker from Skinwalker Ranch that manifested as a skinwalker, a wolfman, dogman, whatever the heck this thing was, definitely presenting as a werewolf, a large black, two-legged wolf-like being with burning red eyes, very werewolf-ish. You could call it a skinwalker, but it's a skinwalker presenting as a werewolf. His house is haunted by evil shadow people in spooky orb UFOs. Getting back to the orbs and shadow people, another paranormal, an expression of the paranormal or aspect. A spooky tree shadow paralyzed him, overwhelming him with fear. He then saw a giant ghost. I admit, I'm not, familiar with this story. I've got to look that one up. A video shows triangle UFOs swarming U.S. Navy ships in 2019. They were just out of focus stars. That's what Stephen Greenstreet says. Okay, whatever. Jay Stratton haunted by a werewolf that was itself a hitchhiker from Skinwalker Ranch. These stories are amazing, and they're all real. Putting aside Stephen Greenstreet's sneering attitude. Tim Gallaudet, former U.S. Navy official, claims spirits from the other side haunt his home. His daughter is a psychic medium, getting into the psychic stuff again. They can see and communicate with these spirits. He filmed tiny ghost UFOs inside his house, but he's never provided the footage. I assume he's talking about, orbs. More paranormal orbs. Alien UFOs are living inside the Earth's oceans. Well, yes, they are, Stephen Greenstreet. But yeah, spirits from the other side. He's dealt with hauntings before. Tim Gallaudet, and his daughter is a medium. Very intriguing. Yeah, Eric Davis, scientist and former Pentagon contractor, claims there are 4 alien species on Earth while ghost hunting at Skinwalker Ranch. I love how Stephen Greenstreet frames all this. They're all kooky ghost hunters, right? While ghost hunting at Skinwalker Ranch, because I'm sure Eric Davis, the scientist, just does a lot of kooky ghost hunting, right? I mean, I've done ghost hunting, but I don't know how much Eric Davis does. Anyway, he heard a voice inside his head saying, "We are watching you." Yeah, a really spooky encounter. One of multiple spooky encounters that Eric Davis had at Skinwalker Ranch. Skinwalker spooky things followed him home and haunted his house. Again, more hitchhiker phenomenon from Skinwalker Ranch, as experienced by Eric Davis. Poltergeist and UFOs are connected to each other and are part of the same phenomenon. This is what Eric says. Obviously true. Bending spoons with your mind and traveling through wormholes to visit dinosaurs is possible. I love you, Stephen. This was part of a crackpot taxpayer-funded paper he authorized while at the Air Force Research Laboratory. Yeah, I'm sure Eric Davis talks a lot about dinosaurs in his professional life, and he writes a lot of papers about going to see dinosaurs through wormholes. But as a novelist, I may have to write that book. I don't know. I'm sure it's already been written. There's been many dinosaur stories, but it's a fun idea, right? But anyway, there you go. Stephen Greenstreet diminishing all these guys, or trying to, diminishing the whole concept of UFOs, saying these people that are bringing us this information are crackpots who claim to be, haunted by werewolves and, claim to be, psychic, remote viewing and being angels or whatever, right? So this is all Stephen Greenstreet's sneering take on all of this. But in doing so, he is highlighting something very important. These are all highly credible individuals. Admirals and admirals. I can say it. Admirals. Okay. Sticking with that one. Admirals, scientists, and so on, that are all having these crazy phenomenon, often in connection with Skinwalker Ranch and hitchhikers picked up from Skinwalker Ranch. Yeah, everything that we've been living through the last few years with UFO disclosure, it all begins at Skinwalker Ranch. It is the origin for all of this that we are living through. If, that Mobius loop hadn't shown itself to James Lukatsky back in the day, then we would not be where we are. If George Knapp hadn't written his book, various dominoes had to fall into place, but ultimately leading to Lou Elizondo coming out of the UFO closet and revealing ATIP, the successor program to OSAP, which began at Skinwalker Ranch, to the world, and sharing those 3 videos. And from those 3 videos, we got, Ryan Graves and Commander Dave Fravor and, all those wonderful stories and witnesses, which began this age of disclosure that we are currently living through. So hats off to Lou Elizondo, James Lukatsky, Colin Kelleher, all those guys for their, Eric Davis, all those guys for doing the good work at Skinwalker Ranch. And I guess thanks to the Skinwalker Ranch for doing that whole Mobius loop. We hear often, time and again, how the phenomenon, at Skinwalker Ranch has a precognitive ability. It knows the future. Did it know the future when it did that Mobius loop for James Lukatsky? Did it intentionally set all this up to bring us UFO disclosure? I don't know. But again, thanks to Stephen for highlighting these amazing episodes and instances. And let me know what you think about all of these in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Hit the bell, all that kind of good stuff. Buy a book, buy a t-shirt, and become a channel member. See you next time, guys. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.